Claus's special elf, because everything is special with sprinkles. Hi there, I'm Sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf, because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to the boys and girls of the world. Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. And we are just 10 days or so away now from Christmas of this year. And I'm so happy to report to you that there are so many good boys and girls on the nice list. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And we celebrate it every day here between now and Christmas here at SantaClausSays.net, where we look to do three things here. We like to spread some Christmas cheer, and our buddy Sprinkles, the elf, helps us to do that. We tell some Christmas jokes. We tell about the second thing we do is we have a story time, which we tell a Christmas story. And the third thing we do is we have a letters to Santa Claus, in which you can always send me your letters at SantaClausSays.net. That's where you can send me an email or a voicemail or a text message, and I will get those. And I always read at least one of those during Santa Claus Says show. Who knows? If you send me your text or your email, maybe, just maybe, I'll read yours here on the air, and it'll be wonderful for you to do. We come to you every night live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Santa Claus Says. You can also find me on the podcast here at SantaClausSays.net and on Apple and on Spotify. That's where you can find me. Well, boys and girls, that is the glockenspiel, and that's the signal that it's the time for what we do next here at Santa Claus Says, and that is to have a funny joke, a joke or two, because this is what we talk about, spreading Christmas cheer. So where does Santa Claus spend vacation? At a hotel. One more joke. Who automatically gets added to the nice list? Anyone who cleans their chimney very well. Oh my goodness, that is such a good joke. Well, the glockenspiel means, boys and girls, it's time for our story, and we've been continuing our story for a few episodes here about the elf who found Christmas. And we'll continue that story for a few more days as well. You can always find all of our stories at SantaClausSays.net, and they're wonderful stories. I hope that you'll listen to them. Let's continue our story about the elf Merrythought. Merrythought struggled up the path through the deep snow and peeped in the window. And as we know, he had expected to see a Christmas tree laden with balls and chains and ornaments of every kind and hue. He thought he might see stockings in a row, and sure he would see bunches of holly and sprays of mistletoe. It was a bare little room with a bed in one corner, and the room were 7 children, all wide awake as could be, just as it were not Christmas Eve, even when every wise little boy or girl goes to sleep the moment the bedtime comes. The 7 children were in their nightgowns, all but one, the oldest a girl, and they had huddled around their shoulders bits of shawls and blankets to keep them warm. But in spite of this and the fire in the stove, their noses were red and with cold, and they blew upon their fingers every now and then. So Merrythought almost fell off the windowsill. He was so surprised at what he saw. And the very next moment, he did something much worse. He sneezed, a loud, crashing sneeze that jerked his head forward and struck it against the window pane with a thump. And, well, of course, the children rushed toward the window to see what was there. And they saw the little fellow, only elf-sized. They opened the door, and Belinda called for him to come in. So when Merrythought went, and the room was so sweet with the odor of the 7 little pies that Merrythought couldn't help sniffing and staring at them too. "There are pies," spoke up little Tom proudly. "One apiece," announced Downy and Bill in a breath. "Belinda made them," said Mary, twitching her thumb out of her mouth to say so. Baby Polly didn't speak a word. Perhaps she couldn't. I'm not sure about that, but she toddled straight over to Mary Thought and slipped her hand in his. She knew at a glance that he was a friend, and that she was right. For unless he were a good friend to little children, Mary Thought could never have made such beautiful playthings for them. In spite of all the fact that this Christmas he had grown so tired of toys. But somehow as he looked into the little room, bare of Christmas on Christmas Eve, Mary Thought didn't so dislike the idea of toys. Indeed, it seemed all wrong and strange not to see a shining tree and stockings filled to overflowing in a row, and little heads brown and black and yellow struggling down in pillow and happy with dreams. I'm going to pause the story there, boys and girls, and we're going to come back to the next part of the story on our next episode of Santa Claus Says. We'll continue the story about Mary Thought the elf who found Christmas. So that's where we come back to our story here at SantaClausSays.net. Well, there is our glockenspiel, boys and girls, which means it's time for our letter of the day, our letter to Santa Claus. And it goes like this. It's from Kimberly. And Kimberly says, "Hi, Santa. I hope this message finds you well." Well, thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate that. I am 12 years old and I'm a girl. This Christmas, I would like to have an Android phone and a manicure set, real or fake. Thank you so much for reading my text. Well, you're welcome, Kimberly, and we'll see about the gifts that you're asking for. Santa Claus always loves to give surprises, so be on the lookout for surprises. I am glad to hear that you would like a phone to talk to people. I hope that you will make good friends to people all around the world and be a good friend and do some good things there. And I think the fact that you would like a manicure set means that you have some aspirations there, and that is wonderful to help to have some fun with that and to share that with other people. Share your toys with other people. That's always a good thing. So Santa Claus says that sharing is a good thing. I want to remind you, Kimberly, and all the boys and girls of the world that you can always reach out to me at SantaClausSays.net, and that is where you can send me a voicemail or an email or a text message, and we can share this time together. It'll have a lot of fun as we get ready for Christmas, which is not too far away now. Well, boys and girls, there is the glockenspiel, which means it's about time for this episode of Santa Claus Says to conclude, because I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of toys to make and a lot of elves to look after as they make all the toys. But I did want you to know I'll be here again tomorrow with SantaClausSays.net. We're here at on the YouTube, live on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/SantaClausSays, and then at SantaClausSays.net for the podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well as the YouTube channel. So we did want you to know we got a couple of very special episodes coming up that you're going to want to pay attention to. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, we're going to tell the story of the night before Christmas and all through the house. You know the story. And then we're also going to share the story on Christmas Day, about the first Christmas with the birth of Jesus. You're going to want to hear that as well. I love you, boys and girls, and we'll see you soon here on SantaClausSays.net. Until we see you again, remember that Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. Ho, 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 ho.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like Sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says live on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles sent you.